it helps for water penetration.
All right, so that's not bad.
Got a couple new shoes there.
Yeah, all this stuff just like.
All right, so up here, not a problem. Paneling is dated, but.
And you couldn't. So one of the things maybe it was you. No, I forget. One of the concerns was if they take the copper pipes, then in the wintertime, the pipes in the house could freeze and crack. And as you say, there's no. If it's unheated. Now, I don't know when they turned it all off, when the copper pipes went missing. And actually, you can even tell me whether I'm seeing what I think I am downstairs with the missing pipes. So, but you didn't see any obvious water issues in the walls upstairs, right?
No, but the only way you're going to get that is from...
taking off.
What am I going to do with my pen? I probably rolled right out of this.
There's probably got to be a pen somewhere here. There's one right here.
Yeah. All right, so back here.
So this is probably an addition, right? You can see, I mean, the ceiling in here was. Oh, there's some copper right up there. You either missed it or.
Well,
didn't feel like that's a lot.
Big copper,
shit, man.
Yeah, you don't see this. That's an 1.5 inch drain line here.
Wow.
Now you do have knob and tube wiring up there. See this guy right here. So you still have some old wiring, but yeah, you got a lot of copper.
So you would think that if they took the copper, they would have gone for that. Or I guess in the basement it's just hanging there, right?
Yeah, the
Low-hanging
basement's
fruit.
easier, and when you start drilling in here and it's going above the joist like that, you got to cut and cut and cut.
People can hear it, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay. Well, so that's good. So that, and there's no obvious leaking around there.
Yeah, see here, this is a concern here that when they added this bathroom,
wow,
this joist is cut all together. This one, the majority of it is cut. So.
Is that the bathroom above this?
Yeah, this is a toilet right here. And then this goes out and your stack pipe is back here in the corner.
You can see this joist sagging here where there's just like a giant.
Yeah, they just cut most of it out.
So
they cut all of that one out. So
that would have to be
it should be
sistered or
it should be supported somehow. It's hard to sister it because your pipe's there now.
Yeah.
You know, so
what do you do? It's fixable.
It's fixable. You can always add some additional support, especially seeing how you've dropped the ceiling down. If they're going to have, whether this ceiling or some other ceiling, then you can actually add, a joist that's going to be below that one a little bit.
Yeah.
And come down to where this ceiling is, and that'll give you some more substance there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of
that'll
6 inches, 5 inches of room there.
Yeah.
But you can see where it clearly is sagging there.
Yeah, so this goes right behind and goes down.
Is that where the stack
comes down? I wonder if it goes out. Some of them go down the outside wall. Not the best idea, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait a minute. No, this is just a rain pipe.
So it's
Now,
inside there.
I don't know. It could be inside
Could be,
here.
yeah, that makes sense. What else would that be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're not the best idea because it can freeze?
Because it can freeze, yeah. Now, unlike other pipes, supply pipes that have water in it that's under pressure and the water can freeze, here it can freeze, and then as you flush toilets and things like that, the water, as it goes down there, the water starts freezing on the inside. Yeah. So the longer it stays frozen outside, eventually it starts closing up. Now your toilet won't flush because you're full of frozen water. So
would you put a wire on the outside of that?
Well, I only had one in Philadelphia down in it was down like in Old City down that way, where they actually had some pipes that had frozen, and it was the same thing. The outside, the waistline went right outside, and then it was backing up. So you have potentially leak here. As well. Now, some of this could be what's called oakum, which is the oil-soaked rag. They stuff it in there before they melt the lead and seal that thing.
Yeah.
But, it could be something else. Now, here, from the look of it, even though you have rust on it, the pipe doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
So, it could be oakum, could be a leak, we don't know.
Yeah.
But the structure here should be taken care of.
Okay. And then I saw some water over here. On this one here, you can see. I don't know what. No, there's a pipe right. Okay, so that's the bathtub.
Yeah.
It's a nice floor.
So they back in the day they had thicker joists. They had solid wood subfloor. So you don't see that anymore.
What do you think of that pine subfloor?
Yeah, it's gonna be pine.
Yeah.
But
So
look
not.
at it. It's what's called 5/4 wood. It's really an inch thick.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
definitely don't see that anymore.
Yeah. Wonderful.
All right.
So,
So gas stove.
that's interesting because there is oil tank downstairs. If I recall.
Well, that could be. Yeah, before they brought in natural gas.
Everybody had them and they just left them in there because it's
Could be, and it could be that. Oh, pardon me.
$300 to get
It
them
could
out.
be that their heating is still going to be.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah. Or yeah, so you got quite a bit of stuff in here.
Moisture.
Yeah, you just have standing water. This guy's been disconnected.
Yeah. See, this is where I saw the pipes, and I wasn't sure if it was that it was taking away an old furnace because this is the only place I noticed the copper missing, or whether I don't see any other copper around
Why
here.
would they
But
cut it so high? I mean, you're taking.
yeah, here, you can see
you
it
wanna
went in
cut
there.
as much of that as you can.
Maybe
Now,
the guy.
this is a peerless boiler, which is a good boiler, but the thing is old.
It's rusty.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What is that an indication of maybe water dripping
Yeah.
in here or whatever?
Yeah, leaking on the outside. Now it also could be. Sometimes it leaks from back in here, but yeah, you had water leaking on the thing. So you definitely have water penetration down here, which is causing the mold, having nothing to do with the pipes.
Okay, so it's somewhere in the
So
foundation.
obviously you need a boiler
Yeah.
because.
What are
yeah.
they? 2,000-3,000 for?
Yeah. You can get a Crown boiler for less than $2, and then they're made here in Philadelphia. It's also cast iron, which is good, and then cost you about $1,000 or so to have it installed. So yeah, you're talking
Okay.
about $3 to put that in there.
Okay.
But the concern is that, and I can't really get over there, is that you have moisture, coming through the wall over here.
So that mold indicates that the water is coming from right there.
Well, it can be. I mean, that's really where the mold spores are landing. And when they
Yeah,
land
right,
there and you
that's
have water.
true.
But you have water up underneath here. So, yeah, you got water coming. It feels like it's coming more from the back than anywhere else.
I couldn't see anything back there when I looked under the stairs. There wasn't. I don't know what to look for to see. I usually
Well, you
see
just look on the wall.
you see kind of a dirt trail.
Yeah, well, if you have running water.
If you have running water.
But here,
I see what you mean. It's just
they've parged this thing here. You have some peeling paint, so you have efflorescence. So peeling paint, efflorescence, things like that. They're indications that you have moisture penetration. And when you clean out all that back area,
Yeah.
then you'll be able to see if you have any any areas where the moisture is coming in.
Get a crawl space
Luckily,
there.
your joists down here look like they're in pretty good shape.
I
they
do.
can start getting affected by excess moisture as well.
There is copper here. So it wasn't a wholesale copper.
No, this
copper.
is all of this is black iron.
Oh, this is iron here? Oh, yeah, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
I thought back there I saw some shiny.
No.
Right there.
Yeah,
A little
this
bit right
thing.
there. So maybe they just.
So they just cut some stuff out. I don't.
Well, do you think that was, again, the boiler guys taking the copper, or do you think that somebody actually was stealing
When
copper?
somebody steals copper, they try to take as much as they can, as long as it's
Yeah.
here.
And this is the only
But
place.
they also took it here, where this thing's coming up. So this was a lot of half-inch copper that they took somewhere.
All right. So it looks like somebody did come
Yeah,
and take
somebody
the
was
copper.
in here and ripping some stuff out.
So dumb. And it's probably worth $4 or $5 what
Yeah,
they
who
took,
the hell
right?
knows? Yeah, not a lot.
So the water penetration, is that it's we see it a lot. Is that something to be concerned about? Is it fixable?
Yeah, the thing is that once once somebody's in here, you need to have a dehumidifier down here to eliminate all the moisture that's in the air. Because
Yeah.
the moisture that gets down here has got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
It stays down
And
here, and that's
windows
why
are
you
all-
got the stuff growing.
They're all permanently shut. But it's
What you do is you get a dehumidifier and you set it on top of this guy here, and you have a hose coming out so it goes into the sink.
Yeah.
And then it just works all the time and eliminates the moisture in the air. Once you eliminate the moisture in the air and you get rid of those vines back there to see if you have anything obvious back there, like for instance cracked walkways, that need to be sealed up? Is your walkway actually slanting towards the house, which is channeling water towards the house?
Yeah.
So things like that are obvious that you could fix, need to be looked at and done. But in the meantime, fixing this up and getting a dehumidifier to eliminate all the moisture that's in the air.
And then certain amount of moisture coming in is kind of normal, but
You
if
know
it's
what?
not here,
Between
it's
you and
sucked
me,
right
if I
up.
was buying this house and I'm going to rehab this house, there's no way I'd have a mold guy come in for $2,000.
You mean it's not that serious?
Well, it's serious. You don't want mold growing down here, but if you mold is a systematic of moisture penetration.
Yeah.
You get rid of the moisture penetration and you get rid of the moisture that's in here, then new mold can't grow. You get rid of the old mold by spraying a bleach water solution.
Yeah.
Now that being said, as I say that, a lot of people, bleach is a household thing that everybody's seen, everybody's touched and what have you. But when you're in an enclosed area,
Yeah, right.
and you start to atomize it or you start to spray it where it's airborne,
Yeah.
it can knock you right over.
Yeah.
So you'd really have to have, and unfortunately you can't
No,
do much
we
with
would-
ventilation.
We would break that open there.
But what you would do is get a mask, and I'm not talking about a dust mask. I'm
No,
talking
right.
about
The
thing that
the
has
serious-
has the charcoal
Yeah.
things. You get one of those. And you just spray it on the areas that have the excess mold here. And you don't have to go throughout the whole house.
Just where you see it, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. And the rest of it'll just die.
The rest of it will die. And then you get your dehumidifier down here, and you have that running, and then you eliminate the problem. These mold guys, I just think they're way
Yeah.
overpriced.
Well, and this guy actually seemed honest. He said, a lot of guys come in at $10,000, and he actually poo-pooed it. He said, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
And the question is, what's it from? Is it something to be concerned about? Are we going to,
Yeah, the good news is that, and I've done, like I had a house in West Oak Lane that I rehabbed a couple of years ago, and there I had a lot of, I really didn't have, it was moisture in the basement, it wasn't coming from the perimeter, but I had a lot of parging issues where the mortar between the stones was coming undone.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these older houses, what they did for mortar is because they're digging a hole in the basement, and what are they going to do with all that extra dirt?
just use the
So
dirt
what they
instead
used
of
to do
sand.
is they would use instead of sand, they would mix Portland with it, and they would a mason guy told me that, and he said it worked great unless it gets wet.
Yeah.
Because regular sand mortar mix, when it gets wet, it's unaffected.
Yeah.
But if it's in a basement and it's an area that is not exposed to the outside, then you can go years and years and years. And this house was like 80 years. But you get moisture in the basement, it starts falling apart. You just dig it with your
Like
your
mud.
trowel. It just
Yeah.
continues to come undone.
Oh, Lord.
And but you can see here your walls, look like they're in great shape.
Yeah, they
So
don't see
if you had years of moisture penetration, it would have started deteriorating these walls.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't.
So that suggests it's a kind of a new thing. Maybe the vines.
Primarily lack of maintenance. That's what
Lack
it
of
is,
maintenance.
lack of
Okay.
maintenance.
All right.
Now you may find you have some areas outside that's bringing some moisture in, but like the stuff that's down here on the floor, that's never going away.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a dehumidifier
Yeah.
when they cut these pipes, guess what? All the water that's in
Yeah,
these
that was
pipes
in there,
dumps
just
down here.
poured in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that may be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And again, as you say, there's nowhere for it to go. It just stay
So
here.
all the water in the pipes and it goes up to the radiators. You could have had, I don't know, could have had 50 gallons of water between all the radiators and everything, and that would have just dumped right
Incredible.
down. It would be the equivalent to this guy here, dumping out.
Yeah.
Only I think this is only 40. Yeah.
And this is an easy fix, right?
Yeah.
You put a new boiler in,
Yeah.
furnace in here, and they
Because
just make the connections.
yeah,
Everything else
luckily
is there.
all this is black iron, and they didn't mess with
They
that.
didn't care
So all you
about
have to do is unscrew these things and screw in a new one.
Yeah.
Or they even left you enough room on the copper where you could
That's true, right.
put on a what's it called, a connection.
Maybe it was a pro who did it, Somebody.
So
All right, good.
yeah, this is going to be the biggest expense here. The roof needs to be done, but it doesn't need to be replaced right now, and so that needs to be done. But I would save that $2,000, that's for sure.
Yeah, he said it's under 1,500 to do it.
Oh, he did?
And
Okay.
so
Now, what they do typically is they do an air quality test, which is kind of dumb because guess what? It's going to show you moisture and mold, and then sometimes they do one afterwards.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
yeah.
I
Okay.
wouldn't.
So no huge concerns down here,
No.
really. And then the
I mean,
front.
that we can see. Now, there's
that
a
we
lot
can
of
see.
crap down here that we can't see
What
because of the stuff.
So no cracks on there.
Yeah, see, this is the interesting thing is you have more peeling
Spalling.
paint here
Yeah.
than you do on the side. You
Yeah,
actually have-
and here you would have theoretically more water because that's a party wall over there, right? So there shouldn't be any
no,
water.
well, part of it is, but part of it's not. The party wall, I think, is only about here. I
That's
think,
true.
you know, that wall that I took a picture of.
Yeah.
I didn't look at the bottom part, but you have vines coming up. So part of that is still an exterior
Oh,
wall.
I see. Okay, there's a.
You just can't see it.
All right, all right. So, but any huge concerns here? Is it normal looking?
Yeah,
I mean,
this
I've
looks
seen
all right.
much worse.
Now again, here's your cast iron. Look at that. You got a ground rod in here. I don't usually see that in these row
Yeah.
homes. That usually they just attach it to the water pipe and that's that.
You see a ground
Ground wire
electrical
going to a
wire,
ground rod.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's your cast iron. Now the cast iron that's visible, if you had to replace any of that, that's fairly easy because it's right there. You just knock it out and you put
Yeah.
PVC in.
And that's pretty cheap, huh?
The one that's a pain in the neck, which I had to do before, was if your standpipe
Yeah.
has to be
Way back
replaced,
in there.
and that's what goes vertical.
And how deep is that back there? I wonder.
Goes back to there and goes right outside. Here's a huge copper pipe. I don't know why they didn't get in there. So good news is they didn't take all your copper.
Kind of dopey.
Yeah.
So, do you see the?
You go see there. See, it goes through the wall right there. It
Okay.
goes up. You can see part of it right there. So it goes up and out.
You're looking at the
This thing here. This thing continues to go
okay,
back.
yeah, right.
And then there's that copper. And then as it takes
Yeah, oh, I
takes
see
a
it there, yeah, right.
45,
Yep,
and you
yep.
can see the knuckle there on the
Yeah.
45 goes up.
But it doesn't look too bad from here.
No, it doesn't. But
This is the oil tank.
you don't know
right here.
until the water runs. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's a question mark. Right now, there's nothing obvious that it does definitely needs to be changed. And here you have your oil thing. It looks like it might be empty. This has a copper line that goes over there to your unit. So because of the fact that you have to replace your boiler, and you have gas in here. Where's the meter? Is it in here?
Yeah, there's right back there.
Yeah, right there. So because you have gas in here, you know, I would put in a gas boiler. I wouldn't go with oil.
Yeah.
You know. And,
Oh, so this is an oil boiler.
yeah, that's an oil burner. There's your
Yeah.
Beckett
What
pump
the
right
hell?
there.
Ba-boom.
And then here's your copper line that comes. See this copper line that they also didn't take? That
Yeah.
goes here all the way to the wall and all the way over to the tank.
Yeah.
So he could get rid of the tank and just change it to a gas one.
Is it cheaper or any difference in cost or not
I
really?
think the cost of the boiler is probably the same.
Yeah.
It might even be less because a gas module for a boiler is less expensive than having to go with this big pump and the high voltage starter here. So so that part of it that's maybe a couple $100.
Yeah.
So it could be a little bit cheaper. The biggest thing though is now hooked up to gas, you don't have to get oil deliveries, and right now gas is less expensive than oil. So when
Yeah.
you're talking about long term,
Yeah.
you know, it's less expensive to run the gas than it is to run the oil.
Yeah.
The unit itself may be 6 of one, half dozen the other.
Yeah. Okay.
So a plumber could do that. So here you have some openings in here, but you know you have newer breakers. You don't have a main in here though.
Huh.
So what they have, this is an older one where, you know, by shutting like this one here, we can't see it, 60 amps. This one supplies the electric for these guys here. And then you have a separate one here, 40, that's probably going to, at one time, going to a electric stove
Yeah.
or something. So anyway, in order to shut off everything, you have to shut off 1, 2, 3. You have to shut
Okay.
all these guys off, and then
Yeah.
everything in the panel goes off. So you don't have one main disconnect. You can still do that, and you still have some, you know, well, you don't really have much capacity. Oh,
There's
yeah.
one there.
Well, no, you can't take those bottoms out. So yeah, you really don't have more capacity if he was planning on finishing the basement or something. But other than that, you don't have to really do anything.
And to put a new board in would be.
Well, you put a new panel in. An electrician charges about $1,000 to put a new panel
wow,
in. There's-
okay.
And you don't have any immediate need for that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay.
So here's this is an aluminum wire. Should be going over to a water pipe somewhere.
Huh.
Oh, it's disconnected. Because they probably had, oh, that is copper. It's painted. That's why I thought it was aluminum. Looks like aluminum, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But anyway, it went to a water pipe somewhere over here.
Uh-huh.
So that needs to be
It's
fixed.
just
That's
a
part of your
ground.
grounding.
Yeah.
So you want 2 forms of grounding. You got a ground rod, which like I say, I almost never see in these older ones because they didn't have ground rods.
Yeah.
And then, so that needs to be reattached. But other than that, you're good to go. You have a new meter base where somebody changed out that.
Yeah.
Well, here's an old connection for a ground. Oh no, this is just bonding the gas gas pipe or the gas pipe to the ground. That's what that is.
Okay.
But it's not doing any good right now because your
That's
water
a-
pipes are not grounded because that ground has
It's
been
disconnected
disconnected.
there. Okay.
So that's an easy fix.
Okay.
So you got a couple question marks, as it relates to the plumbing and the electric because it's not on. But this is an expensive thing to have to replace. You don't really have to replace that. It's not like you have a fuse box or you have a Federal Pacific panel that they burn houses down. So you don't have one of those.
And the knob and tube you saw upstairs, that's just residual? I mean, it's
probably you probably have some live knob
legacy.
tube. I don't see any down here. So down here it looks like they've replaced the knob and tube with Romex and armor stuff.
Okay, right,
Yeah. You said you saw some?
No, well, all I saw was this box. Here, these, but that's not.
Junction boxes. No, that's so this wire, that's all newer wiring. The knob and tube looks. You can really tell what it looks like. It's actually.
Yeah, we had it in our old.
It's actually supported. Now, see that stuff there? Those wires. That's probably knob and tube wire down there. Coming from that junction box. Yeah, it might be there because it looks like that type of rag wire insulation.
So for insurance, do you think the rest of the house is knob and tube? It didn't look like it. No, I mean upstairs we had a ground.
You don't know if it's in the wire. You don't know. But yeah, you had a. I don't know if it's properly grounded or not. I test those when I.
When it's on.
When it's on, but you do have GFI there. I just don't know, is the ground really attached?
Yeah. And so for insurance, it's possible that they may make.
Yeah, but you don't volunteer anything to anybody.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah, see, like this, you have no wire clamps here. These wires are just going through those sheet metal holes. And
Yeah.
And not only that, but the outside of the sheathing on this guy right there, you can
all
see it going
torn,
through the hole.
yeah.
So that's not so good. Same thing here. You have metal. This is armored cable, and that's supposed to be attached here. That's come
All the
loose.
way
And
in,
so now
yeah.
all you have is some wires. You got a couple things that if I was doing a regular home inspection, I'd write it up that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at decision makers on whether to buy the house or not, what big things are going to cost you. If you were to have have a plumber replace this back here, that could cost you $2-3 grand. But I've replaced my own, for a couple hundred. We just don't know if it's going to leak or not. This cast iron. This cast iron, it lasts a long time. Well, how old's the house?
I think it's it's over 100.
Oh, it is. All right. So it's at the age where some of the cast iron definitely could fail, and I don't see that any of it has been replaced with PVC yet.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see certain sections they replace.
Yeah.
So
and you don't really want to. Well, so a more thorough inspection might indicate whether it's something that should be done soon or.
Yeah, but the way to do that is you get the water turned on.
Yeah. Right.
I bought a house in Ardsley that I rehabbed. Ardsley, and it had the cast iron on 2 walls. So I had like 20 feet this way, 20 feet that way.
Oh, wow.
And it was a Fannie Mae owned house, so I had no utilities. So it wasn't until I took possession, had the water turned on, turned the water on.
Boom.
And in the basement, I hear it sounds like somebody's taking a shower. And it was split all along the bottom, and water was coming out, so I had to replace all that.
And you say you did it yourself?
I do, yeah.
You cut it, and because that's just the connection is the hardest part. Obviously,
the most difficult thing to be careful of is
the grating.
The knuckle, the last one that goes outside. You don't want to damage that.
Yeah.
So see that one right there, and that's your clean out. Now, and very honestly, maybe this pipe is good. So maybe you go to this knuckle, or one of these two guys here. So you have to cut it with a grinder and really kind of be careful because you don't want to damage this pipe, or in this case, that pipe.
Yeah.
You damage that one.
You got to
now
dig
you're
it all
excavating.
out.
Now you're talking about a big deal. Once you've made that cut, and then you cut it on the other end, then you just take a sledgehammer and knock the crap out of it. But it's heavy, man. It's those sections.
Well,
are like
people buy
almost.
it. You can sell the scrap.
They do.
I don't know what you get for iron.
Like here, it's kind of funny because here you can leave